got Kristina Horner next, so just sit tight. Good, good. Nice to meet you. Grab a seat.
I've heard that this is going to be a lot easier wearing pants.
Yeah. It's a little nicer.
Yeah, exactly. I feel prepared.
The metal could be cold if you're wearing like a skirt or a dress or something.
Yep.
So how are you enjoying Vlogger Fair?
It's good. It's been really nice being at a convention that I didn't have to fly to.
Right.
You know, I stayed in a hotel for. I went home last night. So I only live like 15 minutes away.
That's
so
perfect.
It's been awesome.
I think it's probably closer than the hotel that everyone's staying at.
Maybe.
So that's pretty good. So the Vlogger Fair is like the first like real YouTube gathering convention style thing in Seattle, right? So I mean, like, was there another one before?
Well, there wasn't like an official event.
Right.
There's always like a Northwest YouTube gathering, and that's sort of like happening every year, but it's like an unofficial, just the people in the area put it together.
Yeah.
We've never had an event like this with like vendors.
Right.
Yeah.
So is it nice to have everybody kind of come here instead of you having to go to like Florida or LA or wherever, you know?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's great. Because it's kind of like, you know how like when you're growing up and it's like you always go to your friend's house, it's like, dude, come to my house today. Like, I don't want to have to go to your house. Come to my house.
Yeah, I want to get my pajamas on for the game.
Right?
Come over to my house so I can sleep in.
Yeah, exactly. So how long have you been doing YouTube, and maybe just tell us about how you got started. Let everybody know how you got started.
Well, I have been doing YouTube for like over 6 years now.
Yeah.
I started back in 2007, and the way that I got involved was because I was really into Harry Potter stuff on the internet. I like wrote fan fiction, and there's this whole like Wizard Rock, Harry Potter music community, and I was already doing all that stuff. And then I just sort of stumbled upon people making videos about Harry Potter on YouTube. People just like talking about their favorite books and things like that, and I just found it and was like, I can do this. And I was bored at college. I had like too much free time, you know. And so I just started making these Harry Potter videos, and then from there started finding all these other YouTubers talking about other topics, and I, sort of found out about the community and was, already doing it myself, and it was one of those things I just fell into.
Yeah.
Like it just sort of happened itself, and it was great.
I feel like Harry Potter really took over the internet for a while there.
Yeah.
Like who here likes Harry Potter? I'm pretty sure, yeah, like everybody likes Harry Potter.
Pretty much.
So I mean, like, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like just YouTube videos, fan forums, fan sites, and everything. So it's crazy. And to be at like kind of the forefront of that, like you were really kind of.
Yeah, it was a really exciting time. Like 2007 specifically. Up until then there was. People writing fan fiction, we had such a long break between the 4th book and the 5th book that people were like, what do I do right now? I love these books, I need more, I don't know how to wait for this.
Yeah.
And so people turned to the internet, and that's when, like, Harry Potter online really exploded, because people needed it. People needed something to fill that gap.
Right.
And so, that whole fandom was set up already for when the 7th book came out, and, people were losing their minds over the series ending.
Yeah.
And even though, that has sort of ended.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people were brought to the internet in those formative years of their lives because of Harry Potter, and so there's still, like, I think a special place in people's hearts for Harry Potter, even now that we've sort of like progressed beyond it. And there's new things.
Right.
There's the Hunger Games. There's Doctor Who. There's Sherlock. There's whatever people are into now, but everyone still kind of like remembers that Harry Potter is a brother there.
Right. It's like if it's like a gateway band. Like a
Yeah.
certain band that got you into this genre. You listen to all these bands, but you're always got a sweet spot for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
So where do people go now that came to the internet for Harry Potter? They're on YouTube and they're, Harry Potter's kind of, now what?
Well, I mean, for me personally, a lot of people talked about Harry Potter and then like grew up. A lot of people started making these videos when they were young, and now they've got like so much more stuff going on in their lives. And so a lot of people who started talking about Harry Potter but are now still on YouTube just do like lifestyle videos, and now they're traveling and they've got like jobs and all these things. And so like it's interesting to watch these people sort of grow up with that. But I think for the fans that are still looking for things to talk about, there's so many other fandoms that are right in line with that.
Right.
And I think the Leaky Cauldron was like the big Harry Potter news site, and they adjusted to this switch by bringing in other shows and things that people are interested in. They talk about Doctor Who, and they talk about Sherlock, and they talk about Glee, and they sort of took that fan mania that Harry Potter had, and they just, adapted and try to stick with what's the new big thing that people are talking about online. And I think that's been a really good way to keep that group of people together online.
Cool. Yeah. All right, we have an audience question down here.
Are you by any chance a Harry and the Potters fan?
I am a Harry and the Potters fan. They're actually a big reason that I started doing Wizard Rock music myself. I went to see their shows all through high school whenever they'd come through Seattle, and they're what inspired me to start my band, and what, you know, kind of made this whole crazy journey that I've been on, like, start. So, yes. My band's called the Parcel Mouse. We don't really do anything anymore, but we did for a long time, and our music's still on iTunes and stuff.
A funny story, actually. I used to work at Much Music in Toronto, in Canada. It's like Canada's version of MTV. And I was a host there for 5 years. And one of the interviews I had to do was this one producer was like, there's these bands coming to town, and they play songs about Harry Potter. And I had never heard about this.
You said this is in Toronto?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
Was it for Prophecy? And started was in New Orleans, and it was called Phoenix Rising. And we actually were interviewed by MTV there. Yeah. And it was just such a surreal experience, because we're a bunch of kids who were just doing this thing for fun, and people liked it and were finding us online. And the people who were there from MTV were very cool about it, but they were just like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And people were walking around the streets in their wizard robes, and people thought that we were like graduating. Cause, you know, it's just very funny when the world finds out about what we've all been doing, because it's just a really bizarre community of people.
Well, exactly. Like I had never heard of it before. I was really like, I was interested in like I didn't get it at first. I was like trying to understand. It's like, so what, you write songs about real things in Harry Potter? Or
people
about, like,
would
stuff
ask, like, do you make like the soundtracks for the movies? And we'd have to go, no, we actually just are like a band who, like, a lot of the bands role play, like as if they're characters. You know, Draco the Malfoy songs are all as if they're Draco and things like that. And
by the end of the interview, I understood. I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from now. That's really cool. And then like, you know, years later, I find out that they're like part of this huge community.
Well, I think part of the reason that it was able to explode so much is because, like, in general, when you think of like a book conference, you imagine people sitting in like panels talking about like the finer points of Snape's personality, and that doesn't sound super cool to the outside world. Like, it's fun for us, but like when people were finding out, okay, well now there's like rock bands playing music about this book that I like, suddenly that takes your hobby from like kind of nerdy to like something pretty cool.
It gives us some credibility.
Yeah, exactly.
People care.
Yeah.
It's neat.
It made the conventions exciting.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure too. You go to a convention where it's like, you know, quiet and people talking about books is one thing, but you go to a convention where there's bands playing,
rocking out.
Like, like, it makes it super exciting. Any other questions? You guys have? Yeah. Okay.
I was just wondering how you think your life would be different if it wasn't for, say, Five Awesome Girls and that whole experience.
Well, people ask me a lot what my life would be like if I never did YouTube at all, and I like honestly have no answer for that, because, you know, when your life goes a certain direction, and then, you know, someone asks you 8 years later how your life would be, there's no way to know. There's no way to go back and be like, well, if I just gone to college and whatever, I don't know. But I think, like, on YouTube, without Five Awesome Girls, I don't think any of the people involved with that channel would have, for those of you who don't know, Five Awesome Girls was a collab channel that I started with 4 of my friends, where we each hosted on a day, and we did it for 3 years. I think each of us individually were doing okay on YouTube, but that combined thing was such a unique idea at that point that it really got a lot of people's attention. So I don't think any of us would be doing as well as we are now if we hadn't done that project.
Cool.